What's up?
Hey.
Didn't you say you had like a new...
Yeah, it's Freedom 350. You've entered the Freedom Zone. Yeah, you like that?
So
Where the
like,
problems aren't just black and white,
it's for every American.
red, white, and blue,
Yellow and black.
purple.
Fuchsia. Same thing, right?
I think it's the same, yeah, fuchsia.
Purple.
People of color.
Dang colored people. It's the same thing. Saying people of color is just like saying colored people.
But no, the words are rearranged.
Yeah, and you put a little...
Yeah.
You know what's funny is like my wife, when she would do like the wash, she would say, "Okay, I'm gonna do the colors now." I'm like, "Wait, what?
What?
You say you're gonna do the colors?"
We don't believe in segregation in this household, so we just throw the colors in there.
Well, no, like I'm from the north, and my mom would always say, "Okay, now we're gonna do the colors."
Oh.
But then I come down here, and mom was like, "All right, the colors." Like the D
Whoa.
at the end, I'm like,
Whoa.
what? I know you talk about laundry, but I've just never heard anyone call.
Call laundry the coloreds.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I think my grandma used to say that she was gonna wash the coloreds, and she was from New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, she used to say that stuff. The bottom line is I've met more racists in the North than I have the South.
Yes. The North is a lot. Well, the North is a lot more segregated than the South because the
All
South.
the drama happened in the South.
Yeah, the South was forced to desegregate. So.
However, the North continued on for a little while.
Yeah.
I think what I found interesting was even in World War II, you know, we had the whole Buffalo Soldiers.
Yeah.
And they were a segregated portion of African Americans or black soldiers, however you want to
Well, you had
call them.
the Red Wings.
Right.
They were segregated.
Segregated, yeah. But it was
You
funny
had
because, like, they were doing the same stuff as the rest. But, like, I mean, most Japanese were put in a concentration camp, which is, you know, that's a dark period for us.
Yeah.
And then we had, like, the Hispanics and the whites
I think they were
fighting in one.
I think there were Italian camps too, weren't there?
I don't think there was as many Italian camps as there were the Japanese
Oh
camps.
yeah, I know the Japanese were.
'Cause I do
the main
know
one.
a lot of like New York Italian guys. He's like the stereotypical soldier for World War II movies. You know what I'm saying? Like he's like Joe from the Bronx. You know what?
Yeah, like Vin Diesel's character. And,
Right. In Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
It's like stereotypical. But yeah, so I just think that was interesting that, you know, it was then that they looked at each other and were like, hey, they're doing the same thing because they're both black officers and white officers, and there's
Yeah.
black NCOs, white NCOs, and they're just like, hey, maybe we should just go ahead and desegregate. I think the military was the first point that desegregated.
Well, you know what was funny is a lot of those units that were segregated units, you know, like the Red Wings, the Buffalo Soldiers, the Harlem Hellfighters from World War One. They earned a pretty good reputation.
Yeah, very distinct.
Yeah, which is funny.
Because I think, you know, they knew they were fighting for their country, but they were also fighting to change people's minds.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that made them way more lethal, more dangerous. Because, you know, now there's a separate ideology behind it.
What do you mean?
Because, like, if I'm fighting for America, that's one thing. But if I'm fighting for my race, that's a lot bigger than my country.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be. It's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, it's heavy to carry that burden.
I don't think they thought about it that deeply.
I'm sure some of them did, though.
Yeah.
Because I know there was a lot of educated people. And even if you're not, like, formally educated, you can still be an educated person.
Yeah.
So I'm sure some people would have thought of that.
Being educated is different than intelligence.
Right.
Because kids can be naturally intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
They can pick things. Oh yeah, that's yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
You know, and then you got other kids that are like,
I don't get it. Explain it to me again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like Gunner.
Mm-hmm.
My youngest, he
gets after it real easy.
Yeah, he gets it. But he's...
Because I noticed that too when I was, you know, kind of sparring with your boys, and I told Gunner one time to do something, and he learned faster than Aiden did.
Aiden's really, really cautious.
Yeah.
He's like...
He has to make sure, like, what I'm teaching him is good before he's like, okay, well.
Yeah.
But he did learn quick one time, when that was, you know, all I have to do is, like, keep your hands up and just if you just get in and like just touch his cheek, he's like, oh, he's touching me. Oh, he's touching me. Oh, okay, I gotta keep my hands up.
Yeah, he.
Because you know how I was taught? There was this neighbor that he was like, you ever been in a fight? And I was like, yeah, I've been in a few fights, you know. And he's like, okay, show me what you got. It wasn't anything, you know, because I guess universal fight plan is tackle and pummel the face in, you know, just like they taught us in combatives. Well, this dude, way back in the day, slapped the shit out of me. And that was the first time I was like, oh, fuck. Because I've been hit by a kid, but not a man.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that was different. I was like, oh, fuck. And so I learned to keep my fucking hands up.
Yeah.
From slap boxing. And it was addicting. It used to piss me off when he would make contact. And I remember having like eyes all watered up from getting hit so hard. And that I could barely see, but it just made me more angry and stay in the fight more.
Yeah. Well, like we said, welcome to Freedom.
Oh, yeah.
Tree Fitty.
Tree Fitty.
We don't really have a topic for today, so this could be another.
Because it's a very much a veteran day.
Yeah.
Like for the both of us.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
When we say veteran day, we mean like
Hard.
It's hard to everything that we did put our bodies through, and it's kind of catching up today. The weather doesn't help.
The weather does not help at all. Like I used to think that was a whole like wives' tale. Like, oh yeah, the old people with arthritis can tell when the weather's about to rain. Yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And then after everything, after I was retired, I was sitting at home with my wife. I'm like, man, why does it suck today so bad? Like,
yeah, you just feel drained, exhausted.
Drained, arthritis, pain.
Mm-hmm.
Pain everywhere, and I just
pain in my chest. And like I think of that too. Like when I feel this way, and like all those cadences when we were younger, is like they were preparing us.
like for years, like me and my wife my wife would always pull, maybe
Because your wife's a nurse, so she understood.
And I was just like, no, that's not it.
That's dumb. It can't be.
And then for like a month, it was like raining like off and on, not constantly, but
it just weather changed rapidly.
Yeah, but it was consistent. Like it would rain for 2 days, stop for 3, rain for 2 days, stop. And through that, I was like, it is.
It's the weather, man.
Like I can feel when the weather's coming.
I've noticed here near Fort Campbell, the weather has way more extremes. So when I was home in Florida for those 6 months, it felt easier on the body.
Yeah.
But here, because it changes so frequently, because like Tennessee's just that way. Like one day it's raining, the next day it's snowing, the next day it's like it feels like summer. And so I think those extremes.
Oh, and if the news even says snow or ice, it's a run on every.
You know, I don't understand. Whenever they say we're gonna get snow for days, and then people buy bread. Why the fuck are you buying bread here? Growing up in Florida with the hurricanes, you know what the first thing to go off the shelves was? Fucking water.
Yeah.
You know, the second thing was all the meat.
Well, here it's milk and bread.
Yeah, I don't understand why those aren't gonna last if the power goes out.
Made me think of Anchorman. Like, milk was a bad
Milk was a bad choice.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's funny. Let me go ahead and buy up all the perishable foods now for the winter.
So it's fun. Like I got like a couple of cases of MREs. They're like a decade old now.
They're still good.
Yeah, no, but
they're good for a very long time.
Yeah, they are. Well, what is there to talk about?
We had previously mentioned hunting.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I've never been hunting.
Mm-hmm.
Want to fix that.
Hunting is, I think, fun. It can be, but I don't ever like to take more than one. You know,
yeah.
I definitely believe more like the Native American philosophy, where like, I'm sure there's other early cultures too that did this, but I will never pull more from the ground than I need.
Yeah. Like for me, I'm all, I'm ready to shoot something, hunt it, whatever. But then it's like, okay, well, now what do I do?
Oh, the butchering process and the skinning.
That and getting the deer, whatever, and bringing it back. And
right. And if you had your own meat grinder, you can make your own ground beef.
Yeah, I know
that'd be ground venison. But
I know there's people like you hunt, you get it, you can take it to them, and they'll dress everything.
They'll process it for you. but that costs a little bit. But like if you want to truly save money, and I think hunting is a good way to save money. Like remember back, we're gonna touch on World War II again. They had the victory gardens.
Yeah.
You know, everybody had a little garden, and that should start to come back. It really should, because a lot of the stuff that you grow yourself is healthier than.
True, it is. And the thing is, well, with that comes like, you gotta be careful where you get your seeds from.
True.
Because Monsanto, they'll sue you.
Mm.
Also, we live in a culture now where we're consumers. Like,
right. And it's disposable.
Yeah, and America has grown up with so many generations that are consumers, right? They're like, oh, well, let's just get it right here.
Yeah, we'll just buy a new one. Yeah, that's like the American arrogance, or just throw money at it, it'll fix itself. Yeah. And I think if people don't hunt, then when like a true apocalyptic event happens, and that could be anything, like economic collapse would be like the first thing that would cause a widespread panic, because the people don't know how to get their own food anymore.
Yeah.
So I remember when I was a kid, you know, kind of growing up in urban environments, you know, Publix was my jungle to go hunt.
Yeah. I remember when this one I was still in actually. We would talk about the whole 2012 end of the world stuff, if something's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Pole shift or whatever. A huge solar flare or something, that we were all going to go up to the Walmart distribution center.
Oh yeah, just up the road.
And take it over and
secure it, you mean?
Yeah.
That's basically like, you know, I think a lot of people don't realize just how close we are to I guess devolving back into that warlord tribal mentality. You know, because when we look at Katrina.
Look at France now.
Right.
I mean, they're going to get...
It is literally just a split second away.
I mean, like, France is going through a lot of violent protests right now because of the proposed... They're getting a little American.
Mm.
The proposed fuel tax. Like, it would... Like, if you do the numbers, it would be like Americans paying $6 a gallon. So now you got...
That's like California prices.
Yeah. Well, people in California got money, except for the people that don't.
No, just the people in LA.
Yeah. Except for the people that don't.
Yeah.
Because LA is pretty bad when it comes to they're homeless.
Right. I think they have like the #1 amount of homeless people in the United States.
I remember, like, I'd always heard and maybe seen a couple here or there, homeless people in places I've been. And then I came to Tennessee. Went to Nashville. It's the first time I actually saw, like, this is like pre-flood Nashville, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot more, like, camps and stuff. Like, man.
Yeah, little shanty towns.
Yeah, I'm like, geez, these are real homeless people. Like,
yeah.
What is going on?
You were suddenly a tourist in your own country.
Yeah. Like, I didn't know. And, like, people are like, oh, yeah, don't go in that area, or don't give them this. You give...
Don't feed the wildlife.
Yeah. Seriously, I saw it one time. We were coming out of the club, and somebody had gave, like, a homeless dude a couple bucks, and then, like, out of them.
Just like in South Park, when they gave that one homeless guy some money, a bunch more showed up.
Yep.
Change.
Yep.
And they treated him like the zombies. That was a funny episode.
Yeah. South Park has a lot of truth in it.
It does. But when I went to LA for work with the Army a couple times, that I've never seen so many homeless people before until I went to LA.
Yeah, it's worse now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And this is, me and the wife were talking about this on the car ride over here. It's just like, it annoys me that we have all these missions trips to go to like Africa or
Italy.
I was just about to say Italy. Like, it doesn't make sense to go to Italy, but whatever. That they're like, oh, we're going to go there and build schools and houses for all the homeless. I'm not saying that they don't need help.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of people here in America that could use the help first. Because my opinion is we should be the role model country for everybody else to emulate. But we have cities like Detroit that are breaking down.
Oh, yeah. Well, we could talk about the whole nationalism thing. Like, nationalism has gotten a bad name because
it's typically associated with a race.
White nationalism. Right. Yeah, and if you think about it, all of the countries, like, America was a big experiment.
It still kind of is.
Yeah, it still kind of is. Europe is kind of getting very mixed now.
Yeah, they're starting to take a page from America.
But it's a forced.
It definitely is way more forced.
It's a force-fed,
Yeah. And see, a lot of people don't know this too until you leave the United States. Is a lot of Europeans way more racist than any American you'll meet.
Oh yeah.
Way more.
Russians,
probably some of the. I don't know. I think by far the worst are probably the Japanese.
Oh, well, see,
when it comes to racism,
that's a big thing. Like Japan, it's a huge ethno state.
Mm-hmm.
Very few foreigners you'll see in Japan. It's kind of reminiscent towards the old closed
they're
closed ports
somewhat,
Japan.
Closed,
But
you do not look Japanese. You do not stay here.
So it's like Japan's a huge ethno state. I mean, most countries before like the modern era of America were ethno states.
Right. Because it was almost like a national identity to help tie all the peoples together. Yeah. Right. So if you see a a red hair, blue-eyed, freckled face dude, right? Where's that person from? Ireland, Scotland, right? It's like a heritage of the British Isles almost, right? So like, okay, we know where this dude's from. If you see a tall, big, burly man who's blonde hair, blue-eyed, where's that person from? Scandinavia, right? So like it was almost a national identity then and now, because we're having Obama babies, and you're kind of an Obama baby because you're mixed. I think that concept is scary to people because with the absence of those I guess racial
or ethnic
type of identifying marks, then it makes it easier for people to slowly kind of conform into a Earth mentality.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is a bad
thing.
Globalism.
Yeah. Like we're all a big.
Yeah, so I'm not 100% against globalism because
I don't think we're ready yet.
Well, no, we're not ready by far. But in the meantime, we shouldn't be resisting it either. Because globalization can be a good thing as long as we continue to go down a smooth transition to it.
But if you think
but people have to lose the identities in their.
It's okay. It's like cultures they all don't get along,
Right.
Like some cultures have something within their culture that makes up their culture that is like completely opposite of what makes up another, That's where we get the
clashing.
Like all cultures are not equal. I hate my brain.
Sometimes I feel like we repeat ourselves too, because I think we've said this before, but it's one thing to I guess preserve cultures and study them historically, but I think it's okay to say that the current climate is for example, the Middle East is not one that should be preserved. With extreme oppression of people, that's clearly anti-American, right? Because the whole concept of America is freedom. Mm-hmm. That every person, regardless of gender or color, is essentially their own person and has the rights to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And people can make the argument, oh, that was meant for the white landowners at the time. Well, that's bullshit. Because why the fuck would they write it, we the people, and blah, 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 right? I think because our forefathers knew, at the time slavery was a thing, and they knew it was going to go away eventually. We shouldn't, in retrospect, look back and force either opinion on them without that person being able to defend themselves.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so
we did have those in government that were racist,
Sure.
Obviously.
Because it's weird that, there's all types of people in the world. And I guess the other thing, too, is after having that discussion with the other podcast, some people just can't accept certain things as an answer.
Yeah.
Like when he brought up the whole gun thing and how we as gun owners should find a solution to the gun problem. And I said, yeah, the answer is 2 hands on the weapon and more guns in more people's hands.
Yeah. It's the equalizer, but they don't want to see it that way.
They don't want to see it that way. And they also don't want to understand that there's always going to be an aspect of people that is bad. You know, you're always going to have that bad apple, regardless of if it's one apple out of a million. You still have one bad apple. Doesn't mean that everybody else should suffer for that.
Yeah.
And that some things you cannot prevent.
Yeah, the whole
because you can baby-proof the house.
Yeah.
But the baby can still fall down the stairs.
Yeah, exactly. I like what's it? Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah.
The quote.
Old Tommy J.
Or was it Benjamin Franklin?
B. Frank?
I think it was Thomas Jefferson. Though I prefer peaceful, or I prefer dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery.
Yeah. And then Ben Frank, he said something to the effect of, I have to paraphrase, that people who choose security over freedom deserve neither.
Yeah.
Is it weird though, like how much I feel is paralleling those times to now? You know, sure, our government isn't really oppressive right now, but I do feel like they're misappropriating taxes.
Oh, big time.
You know, and that was a huge problem with the early colonies. Is I'm sure a lot of people didn't give a fuck that they were paying to the British Crown. They just wanted representation in Parliament.
Yeah.
You know, I definitely feel like today our politicians are not representing us.
No, they're not, because when they get in office within a term or maybe 2 terms, they have increased their wealth tremendously. Like they go in worth around 6 figures maybe, and they come out.
A lot of them are previously doctors and lawyers.
Yeah, so 6 figures, and then they jump up to that next
2 tax brackets.
Yeah,
a
couple zeros added.
Yep.
Wait, what?
And then they get disconnected because now they're no longer sympathetic with the people that they were supposed to represent.
And, some people at that level, some people that attain that level of notoriety, celebrity, or even wealth, they think that they are different than the normal people.
Right.
That they're better.
Have you seen those police officer videos where, like, they pull over a police commissioner? I forget where he was, and he was drunk driving. Another cop pulled him over. It was like, hey, let's just go down the station, and this is what it is. I'm sorry. And he's like, no, let's just talk. You could let me go. I was like, and he straight up said, he's like, unfortunately, you're not above the law, even if you are a police commissioner. Sorry. And that's a good cop putting another cop in his place. So it's like,
where a lot of cops will probably be like, this is my
right,
ticket up.
Right, because some other, I guess, slightly less morally driven cop could be like, okay, I'll let you go this time, but you better remember when it comes time for promotions.
Yeah.
So I think all body cams out there should be a thing. And I would even venture to say that a lot of body cams should be like broadcast live.
Yeah. Well, you had that thing in Portland, Baltimore, where a cop, he didn't have his body cam on, and he hid some like evidence. And
shady.
Then he walked back like in front of the house. Like he hid some evidence in the backyard, and he walked back in front of the house where they just chased this guy.
Yeah.
And he walks back, then he turns it on, but he didn't know that the body cam records for 30 seconds. Like it'll, like once you hit the button, it'll take the 30 seconds before you hit the button and add that in. So it added him.
Right, because they're always recording.
Yeah. So it added him planting the evidence, going back and going, oh, okay. Acting like he's chasing this guy. Oh, I think he just dropped something. Oh, look, oh, got it. You're going to jail. Like,
that's
what?
Funny, dude.
Yeah. And then that case, I think, led to like 3 more cases, and then
getting dismissed. Now it's a trend.
Oh, no, not just cases getting dismissed. I'm talking about like other things in the police department that have been going on that people are like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then that like thousands and thousands of cases are like,
Yeah, because I think, and I hate to say this too, try not to be a cop hater, but I think a lot of local police departments are only looking for the headlines of local PD or sheriff or whatever saves a day by putting away fill in the blank of a crime.
Yeah.
And that's what they're looking for, is that way, because they don't want to be completely in the spotlight, but they just need enough information going out there so the local populace are like, oh, okay, our police department's doing something.
Yeah. Like there was recently a police chief went to jail, or he's going to go to jail after he takes care of his dying mom or something like that. But he reported 100% sick, whatever it's called, but they solved 100% of the burglary
crimes.
crimes that happened in his jurisdiction. And the way they did it is he told cops, "Hey, go find people. Like if they have a hint of burglary in their record,
Right.
we're gonna charge them with something." And I think one of the kids was like 16 years old.
Oh, ruin that kid's life.
And, well, I think he got all this stuff dismissed because it came out that
Yeah.
that guy did it.
Yeah. See, I told this to another guy I had a conversation with that. I told him that he probably shouldn't be doing something. He's like, "Oh, it's probably fine 'cause I don't think the cops are gonna come after little old me." And I was like, "No, they're gonna go for the easy, low-hanging fruit before they go after a big cartel or whatever."
Yeah.
Because they just need that headline, like, because I told him, I was like, just they capture a local crazy man with drugs or something, whatever, fill in the blanks, and then his life is fucked.
It's just like CID in the Army.
Mm-hmm.
Like everyone's always afraid that who's the CID in our unit, whatever.
Yeah.
But sometimes the CID they'll catch something big that's going on, unit wide or something. Then other times they'll just catch that one little private or specialist that's doing something he shouldn't have been doing.
Yeah. We had one guy come in and everybody swore was CID.
That's almost like when everyone in the office swears that guy's CID, you're like, probably not.
He's probably not. He never. I mean, we still don't know if he was, but he most likely was not CID.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny too because when I went to work at my job after the Army, a couple people accused me of being an internal affairs guy, and I was like, no, because like a couple of stuff happened, and the news came out, and everybody was like, well, this guy just shows up, and all of a sudden this is uncovered, and for whatever reason, like I just wanted to know like accountability of certain high dollar items because there was like no tracking whatsoever. Like it's hard to stop being an NCO.
Yeah.
Especially when you're used to like taxpayer money or whatever you're safeguarding. I was like, hey, what the fuck? We got all this stuff not serialized, and you said this how much, and stuff's missing, WTF? And I was like, oh man, we can't have this. And people were like, hey, are you internal affairs? Were you former CID or something? I was like, no, dude, I just give a fuck.
Yeah, it's like, that's the big difference between, like, when you get out of the military, like when you're fresh out, it's the be on time.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I had a problem with when I first got out.
What, being on time?
No, I was on time.
Just they were late?
Yeah. Like.
Yeah, because I guess most civilians, not to disrespect them, but they just operate on a different time. Because remember, like, how we had conversations like time being relative to people?
Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes is when Gandalf, they said it in the movie Lord of the Rings, is that a wizard is exactly where he needs to be.
Oh, yeah.
Essentially, I forget the exact quote.
Everyone else is early.
Yeah. Yeah, a wizard is exactly where he needs to be, but everyone else is early.
Same thing was said in Princess Diaries.
Yeah. But, so I think about that, to them, they're on time regardless.
Yeah.
Even though, like, we haven't accepted what we perceive as time. We're like, okay, we'll be here at this time because we're used to that in the military. We're like, if the hit is happening at 3 o'clock, fuck, we're going to be there at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's just different. I didn't experience that too much because most of the people that I was working with were also veterans.
Yeah.
So a lot of the whole, like, showing up on time was pretty good.
Well, me getting out of the Army, I went to college.
Oh, and then you have to deal with those kids who are still figuring out what the fuck a dick is for.
Yeah, like, what was weird is, you have assignments due.
Oh my god.
And, I went to college obviously for film and video stuff, right? So, like, with the regular courses were, normal, like, you got your maths,
your common.
So everyone was pretty much on the same board with that. But like when it came to the video classes or the film classes, like especially if we had projects that we had to have ready, like like the projects that you helped me with,
Yeah.
or whatever little commercial, whatever little ad, whatever little interview, that you have to do on your own and everything, I would be the only one, and Well, anyways, I would be the only one that would have my stuff already rendered, already
And
ready,
done.
done. And I would get to class maybe half hour to 15 minutes early, sit down, and I see the kids trickling one at a time.
And they're
like,
still freaking out, like typing and
yeah,
finishing.
They're like, I gotta render. I'm like, why didn't you do that?
Yeah, why didn't you do it before class? Yeah.
But then I thought about it. I'm like, okay, well, I'm different than most of the students that are going to college here because I don't have to do a job. I don't have a job to go to. It's pretty much I just wake up and
Do homework.
yeah, my job is school. So they have to deal with paying for life, paying for school.
Well, not necessarily, because I know a lot of kids, especially the ones I've been going to school with, like their parents are still paying the way for them. And I would get so fucking annoyed when we'd have projects due, and like the teacher would put on a deadline, say like we get the assignment Sunday night, and then like our first deadline is Wednesday, and then it's due that Sunday at midnight or whatever. But like Wednesday would come and I'd be like, hey guys, this is what I've done. Thursday goes by, nothing. I'm like, okay, I added this to it. Friday, fuck, now I have to finish the project myself. I'll finish it.
Yeah, that sucks.
And then Saturday, people will be like, oh, hey, this is what I think we should change here. I'm like, no, dude. I just spent the entire week doing this thing.
Yeah, a lot of times when I was in school, getting to know the kids. Like I was in the first class to go through at that school to get the bachelor's in film and everything. So all the kids that chose to do it at the same time with me, we all started in photography in the photo video bachelor's program. Then they added an actual strict film video, and then they had a commercial photography. So they split them up, right? So all the kids and me that went to the film video bachelor's degree program, we kind of like stayed together, like had the same classes all at the same time and everything. But I saw them like kind of trickle out one at a time. Mm-hmm. Like, oh crap! There was a couple that I was like, you know what, mommy, daddy are paying for everything.
Yeah.
And then they got a bad grade in something. Like, I can't get that grade,
It's like the end of the world for them.
Yeah, and then I actually saw that their funding got taken. Like,
oh shit. Well, yeah, because I know one of my cousins. He went to school on a program that as long as you were maintaining good grades, the state would pay a large portion of your tuition.
Yeah.
So, which was good because that meant he just had to work a small part-time job to make up the rest of it while he was living at home.
Yeah. Well, while I was going through, like when we had a big group project or whatever that needed to get done, I was always the guy that was like, all right, let's use my camera. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, I'll edit it, because I knew
You had more time?
I had more time. I would get it done, Mm-hmm. So.
But I also don't appreciate like people that wait to the last minute, because I understand like people can be busy too, but if you're given a week assignment and the deadline is Sunday night at midnight and you're holding me up, I'm not staying up till midnight on a Sunday, just to wait for you to respond last minute, and then I miss out on my opportunity to comment back on your bullshit. That's not fair to me. And I've explained it to several teachers and they let it slide.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, it is messed up, because they see I post like right away and I have to wait over a week for them to write something back. Like, that's not fair. So I don't know why. I don't think schools, I think the forced discussion boards, like when you're dealing with online portions of school, I think it's stupid.
I never had to. No, sorry, I did. There was one class that they pushed that was online. It was world history.
I like world history though.
Yeah, so did I, and I was like, I'd post a few more times than what was required. Of course, the students that are like, this, that's it,
and then they leave.
They're done,
and you're still trying like, well, this is a good conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah. I got into a whole debate during my world and culture class with my professor, actually, because I posted up obviously very pro-America when the content was supposed to be pro-communism, and I wrote an essay.
It's supposed to be pro-communism?
Yeah, talking about like, it was weird because they were doing a cultural study on like the Soviet Union and a lot of the good. It was a really weird angle to take for the Soviet Union. This was straight out of the book, and the teacher was very pro Soviet Union communism type shit. And I wrote my small little essay covering like the shortfalls of it. Well, he responds back with not a full essay. I mean, it's technically an essay because it was 3 paragraphs.
Yeah.
Right? But he responds to it, and then I write like almost damn near 5 pages worth of stuff. Like I had to write like in 2 posts
Yeah.
to finish my entire train of thought, and basically outlined how communism will always fail. And he liked it so much that like I didn't have to really worry about anything else the rest of the semester because it was such a good, solid argument.
In depth, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like communism and capitalism are like the exact polar
They
opposites.
exactly are polar opposites.
One is good on paper. In theory, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, everyone, yay, everyone's equal, blah, blah. But
At the same time, though, like
human nature comes into it, and
Right.
then
If
it
we
gets
look at-
corrupted.
just like on how we hate political extremes.
Yeah.
If we look at pure capitalism versus pure communism, they're both very, very bad. Because pure capitalism would have like, if you wanted to sell something to your brother, you wouldn't give a fuck. He's your brother. You'd be like, no, dude, it's $5 million for this.
Yeah.
Whereas most people would be like, oh, you're my brother. I'll give you a family discount.
Yeah.
$4 million, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever, like just slightly over cost or something like that.
Yeah.
But like, so if you take, I guess the thing is we have to have like ethics involved, and it sounds really stupid when you say that we need to have laws that like are based in ethics for business, but it totally makes sense because a lot of people don't realize like we
Human
have
nature.
Yeah, human nature is I want more, and that's just the way we are genetically. We're designed to expand and capture as much as we can and force our will onto other people.
Yeah. What was that? Wasn't it like communism can work in small groups?
Small groups,
Has to
like
be small
tribes.
groups. Yeah. If it's not a small group, it's not going to work.
No,
I mean, you got communism that the fault of it is human
right.
nature.
Because
And
at a certain point, like the janitor doesn't want to, he wants to get paid as much as the doctor, and the doctor doesn't want to get paid as little as the janitor.
because he's doing more, he's more
He's-
skilled.
Yeah,
and
much
all
more
that stuff.
skilled, right?
And then, where communism, the fault is human nature, capitalism kind of tries to control that human nature and use it for good. I say good because, this modern era, capitalism has pulled more people out of poverty
Right.
than anything else.
The only thing that I see very dangerous as we're approaching the future is we have these conglomerate corporations
Yeah.
that are, it's just another way to say monopoly now.
Disney,
Yeah,
way too big.
way too big.
Google,
Also way too
way
big.
too big.
And we also have like of the telecommunications, this is one of the biggest, I guess, threats because like we look at Comcast and other internet service providers that are throttling connection speeds, and they claim that their networks can't handle it, and it's bullshit. It's
Yeah.
just they're trying to nickel and dime Americans. And I do know for like there's only 2, or maybe now it's just 1 that owns like the backbone networking stuff for all networks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so like it doesn't matter who you go through for your provider, they're all on the same traffic, yet they all claim
Yeah.
that they have to have a different, that they're using their networks with their internet service provider, but it's all the same fucking network.
Yeah.
It's all the same cabling.
It's just you're purchasing their access to it.
Right. And a lot of people don't know that you can set up your own ISP.
Yeah.
It just costs like I think 10 grand or whatever with the equipment to establish your own provider. Which I thought about doing myself, but
Oof.
it would be a lot of money initially, but I think
Yeah.
then I could turn around and sell to
Other people.
people in the local area. But you have to be careful because even with like Google with their fiber optic connections, like over in Nashville, they were facing problems because Comcast would fight them legitimately every telephone pole to telephone pole or
Yeah.
utility pole now. But
Yeah.
so like they would take them forever to expand out one utility pole.
Well, just think, the cable networks not networks, but the cable companies, like the providers, right? They've pretty much had a monopoly for a few
long
decades
time, yeah.
because they were like, hey, we'll take Tennessee, you take Georgia.
Yeah, you take Georgia.
We got Wisconsin, you
Right.
take Texas, So,
And that's collusion,
yeah.
right? 'Cause that's the other thing. Like when we're on post,
Area monopoly through collusion, like, hey,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because like on Post, it's like Comcast only.
Yep.
You cannot have a competitor. And now I understand like government contracting.
I think that's all. Yeah, I think is it all Posts Comcast?
I don't think it's all Post, but like I know when I was stationed in Savannah, it was Comcast, and when I came up here to Campbell, it was Comcast as well. So like, it could be different. Like the fair market should have a place on Post too.
Yeah. That's like why you only find Burger Kings and that on Army installations as
but
well.
I mean, I understand too, like there's probably something to do with some bullshit contract that was put up for bid 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And, which I think, I don't know, that's fine. But I think when it comes to different utilities, because today, I guess you could say that there are utilities, because nobody really uses cable television.
Yeah.
So
Like,
everybody uses the internet access points
Like-
as a utility today.
my wife's always saying, I want to see the news. It's like, all right,
Grab some bunny ears.
well, we got a digital antenna, so like just turn
Yeah.
it on, you know. It got to catch it at 6 or
Well, I mean,
5 or whatever.
There's
but-
other services like Hulu. I
What-
know does local TV too.
Yeah, we have Hulu and Netflix and Amazon.
Man, between those three, why do you even need cable?
That's why I wanted to go that route, you know, like forget cable. I still get Charter. Is it Charter? Yeah, I still get Charter
Yeah.
calls. Like,
Do you
At
want to
least-
buy TV? No, dude.
no, like we
No.
got a really good offer. We can give you a 40 megs download speed.
See, you know what I
I'm
don't
like,
understand?
I'm like, I already got a gig. They're like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
I'm like, can you
you
do
beat that?
better other than a gig?
Can you give
No.
me two?
Yeah. They're like, no. I'm like, then stop calling me.
Yeah.
That's all you gotta do. Stop calling me.
Call back when you have a better deal. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, that's the normal thing in capitalism is the consumers start dictating, you know, what products they want. And so these companies,
Yeah.
instead of trying to push cable, it's because they're full of old people that don't understand. Like, they're not recognizing the shift in landscape.
Yeah.
You know, if I don't want to have cable TV anymore and I'm paying specifically for certain shows access or whatever, then maybe they should have changed their model. You know,
Yeah.
they have to adapt, because that's what was one of the failures of Blockbuster is they didn't recognize, I guess, the value of streaming content. Because
Yeah.
if Blockbuster had purchased Redbox even at the time, then they would have had, I think they would have been around today.
Yeah, there would have been a Blockbuster streaming service just
Yeah.
like Netflix. Like, I don't know what I was gonna say. I was like, oh yeah, like, and
Yeah.
out my brain.
I do miss that experience of going to Blockbuster on Fridays. You know, the parents pick
See
out a
what's
movie,
out,
and then
yeah.
you rent the same fucking video game for Nintendo,
Like,
and then you do the math, and like you could have just bought it if
Yeah.
you just saved up 4 or 5 weeks.
like we've been, what we've been doing this little Christmas time right now is like we've been picking a movie on Netflix or Hulu, whatever that's like Christmas related, and watching
Yeah,
them.
Die Hard.
Yeah, we're gonna watch that. But we just got like the new there's a new Santa thing on Netflix with Kurt Russell as Santa Claus, and I thought it was funny. They do the whole angle where he was like all pissed, like, why do they always show me as a fat dude? I'm not that fat. Which it's
That's
pretty
funny.
funny. But you know, we watched that and they loved it. I thought it was great, and I'm like, oh, I looked at my wife. I'm like, tomorrow we're doing Home Alone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
I used to watch that every Christmas
Yeah.
when I was a kid.
to put on Home Alone for them, and they were just like, especially when it got to him doing all the little
All the-
gadgets and little tricks. And
You know what's funny is I think because of Home Alone, it taught me a very valuable life lesson that criminals will strike.
yeah,
And like even when I was a kid, I remember like because of Macaulay Culkin sitting there and drawing shit out and planning, I would legitimately sit there and like map out the house and come up with like things I would do if something happened like that.
you know what's funny is like after rewatch, you know, being so long since I've seen it and watching it again, I'm thinking like that little map that he drew out, like what he was going to plant where
Yeah,
and all.
highly detailed.
That's really detailed, and how long will it take him to do that?
Well, he's
you
a
know,
kid.
And I'm sitting there thinking like I'm like breaking down the timeline. Like, does he have
Yeah.
enough time to do this? And you know, he went to the
I went to the grocery store
He went to the grocery store. He went to see Santa,
Yeah.
and then he went to the church.
That's right, where he met the old dude with
Old
the...
dude, and actually started talking to him like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're not scary." So I'm like, and then the bell starts ringing, and he starts running back home. Like, did he have enough time to set all that up? I don't know.
He must have had help.
Must have.
No, and I remember thinking too, especially now as an adult, like a lot of that is so complex for a small child because he's supposed to be like what 7 or 8 at the time, for an 8-year-old to
Yeah.
come up with.
Yeah, 8.
Especially the whole like hot iron on the doorknob. That seems like it's
Hot iron on the doorknob. How to take that tar and put the nail in it. And
yeah.
You know what? That is still the funniest part to me. I laughed hysterically because you see his foot and you see it go down like really slow,
Yeah.
like almost like he purposely impales his foot on that
Yeah.
nail, and then he's just like
Slowly. Yeah.
grabs his leg and he starts screaming and he falls back.
He still does it.
Yeah, my wife looked at me like, you've seen this before, right? I'm like, yeah, but
It's
performance that
Yeah.
guy gave is great.
it's underrated, I think, still, and I'm actually pleasantly surprised that it holds up to the modern
It does.
film score, I guess you could say.
I mean, if you look at all,
It's only slightly dated with some of the context, like with the delivery of
phones,
pizza. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But one thing that I forgot was the fact that Joe Pesci's character, he posed as a cop in the beginning,
He did, yeah.
and he was like, "Hey, and just want to let you guys know that we're going to be monitoring the area." And then he found out, "Oh, you're going to be gone." That's how he found out that
Yeah,
everyone's going to be gone.
They
so.
kind of like let people know, hey, don't trust nobody.
Yeah. Try to get them to watch Home Alone 2. They started watching it, then they kind of like...
They fell out of it. Home Alone 2 wasn't as good, but it's still... Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2 are pretty good.
Dude, you know how many Home Alones there are?
I saw the third one, and they changed all the kids up, and
Yeah, there's
Just
like...
not
there's
good.
Like 5 or 6 Home Alones. Like, I was on Amazon, typed in Home Alone. So Home Alone 1 and 2 popped up first, and I'm like, wait, what?
it's too many.
Yeah.
They
Trying
should,
to run that gravy train, man. Ooh, get
Yeah.
money.
Maybe they should remake it now with Macaulay Culkin as the dad. He just perpetuates the cycle of forgetting his kid.
But it would have to be completely changed because like his dad was like live in that house and afford to go to France with all the
Yeah. It could be as simple as like driving down to grandma's house in the next state.
yeah. But I mean, Macaulay Culkin's pretty
Because the character has still a large family, right?
yeah.
So like this still very possible for them to forget his son.
Like, did you see that little video that Macaulay Culkin
Yeah,
did?
where he's the adult now and
and
he's
he's
going
getting
on
an Uber and he's
Yeah.
like, man, they forgot me.
twice.
Yeah, didn't like drop any like names, but
Yeah.
everything that was
thought it was pretty funny,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was pretty good.
It kind of showed that he's no longer a crackhead and he's able to act still.
Yeah. I know.
He was like one of those 90s icons too. Because when
Man,
you think of like the 90s, it's like the top 3 is obviously MJ, and Macaulay Culkin. Michael Jackson and Michael Jordan.
yeah. Michael Jackson had to meet Macaulay Culkin, of course.
It's ignorant. No, it's blanket. No, that's so ignorant. No, we're just gonna play.
I don't know how true it is. I kind of believe it though.
They had like a mental disorder.
No, the reason why he was the way he was is because he was chemically castrated
Oh, I could see that.
as a kid to save his voice because
yeah,
they
yeah.
wanted to keep that money
Keep it
coming
high. He. I mean, musically, he was a genius. I think.
in. Oh, he was. And he do you know how he came up with this stuff?
I watched a documentary on it, but
With a little voice recorder.
oh yeah, and he would like beatbox.
He would beatbox the beat, do the tune that
That was
he
how they
wanted the
did music back
guitars.
then.
Huh?
They would record something, play it back, and play something else on top of it,
Yeah.
and play that back and record. Yeah,
That's how someone
Like,
took Michael Jackson to court saying that, oh, he took this and I'm the original person.
Oh yeah, there was a
And he's
lady.
he's like, oh, you did tape,
Yeah,
and
then he did it live for the.
that's right, he did it live.
He did it live for the judge of exactly the method he uses, and he's like, no, because when I hear the music, I just start off with like, this is how I want it to go.
Yeah.
and he would play that. Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it was. We must have seen the same
Same
thing
documentary.
on it.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, Michael Jackson. I think
even
he was
today,
killed.
his music like is still.
I think he was
I think 100% he was
killed
killed.
on purpose because
Yeah.
you know it's funny. Him and Prince,
Oh
both
yeah.
right, both drug mishaps, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
Same thing
think.
with Robin Williams.
I think. I don't know about. Well, anyways, I think they intentionally laced it with fentanyl for Prince, and I think somebody did something while he was under propofol, and that's why he propofol. Oh man, yeah, that stuff works.
Yeah, so that's the other thing.
I know why he used it because when I was getting checked out for GERD or something,
Yeah.
they injected me with the propofol, and it was like it burnt at first going through it, and I was like,
Oh, heroin trip.
no, it wasn't a trip. It was just
You never catch the
Ow.
dragon.
no. What the propofol wasn't about a trip or catching a dragon or anything like that. It was just put you to sleep. But when you wake up from it, you feel well rested, even though you're really not.
Mm-hmm.
You feel well rested, and that was probably part of his problem. But both him and Prince both were getting control of their libraries back,
Yep.
and right before they got complete control,
They were
they
off.
died.
Yeah. And like you just have to ask yourself, who stands to benefit from their loss?
People in control of those
Mm-hmm.
libraries before. Because, I mean, if you're an artist and you sign with a label, unless you have a specific deal saying that, hey, everything I make is still going to be mine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that Taylor Swift just did that. She just signed a deal, and now everything that she makes from this now
point forward, yeah, it's
is
hers.
going to be hers. Whereas her previous stuff is still held by the
The
record
label, yeah.
And
Which, I mean, to be fair, that record label did put her on the map
true.
because she was a nobody. In my opinion, honest opinion of Taylor Swift is her music is mediocre at best.
I think she was I know she was manufactured.
Oh,
She-
100% she's manufactured.
She was cute. She could play the guitar. She wasn't a good live singer at all. Like
Still
she,
isn't, I don't think.
She just I remember when she was still young, still new.
Back when she was country.
Yeah, back when she was country,
Country.
she would still singing about her boyfriends or whatever.
She still does.
Yeah. There was a concert on Fort Campbell, and I remember Matt was like, "Oh man, let's go." I'm like, "No, I don't like country music. I'm not gonna go." Even though I heard it from where the barracks were, it was right by the parade field where it was.
Yeah, why
being
would you
held.
want to go when you can hear it for free right there?
Yeah. A lot of guys went up to the roof of the barracks and
yeah,
just
just watched.
chilled out with beer. But
Yeah, because
Yeah.
those barracks were right next to the parade field. Yeah.
and then she also, they gave her singing lessons and all that. And she's gotten better with her singing over time.
Well, she's also auto-tuned. But not to say that auto-tune is bad, but it just makes for anybody can sing with
Well,
auto-tune.
Yeah, and they've got it to the point now with autotune where you can hardly tell because
Yeah.
they don't
The
T-Pain it.
algorithms have gotten so better. Yeah, and T-Pain is a big
T-Pain,
reason why.
T-Pain can sing. He did that as a style,
Right.
but he can naturally sing. But, yeah.
Unless he's really drunk and high, because I saw that one clip of T-Pain. People were like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" This is also before that they were able to develop the live auto-tune, because back then when
Oh, yeah,
T-Pain
I
first came
remember.
out, auto-tune was an after effect
Yeah.
on. It wasn't able to do live stuff. That came later.
I remember when Kanye did his
Uh-huh.
his auto-tuned album. I forget,
Yeah.
808s and
808s,
Heartbreaks.
yeah.
When I saw him do it live, and I'm like, wait, are they
How-
auto-tuning that
how are they
live
doing that?
right now?
Two
Like,
options
holy
here:
shit.
he's either lip syncing or they're doing it live.
Yeah, they were doing
They're
it
doing it live, yeah.
I was
Because
like,
by that time, yeah, they had a live algorithm.
it's great. It's funny how common
Auto-tune is.
how common algorithm is in the vernacular of people
Yeah.
because it's used everywhere. Like it was used a lot of times back in the day too, but it wasn't like, oh, I know what an algorithm is. It's just
Well, it's
a
also
series of steps.
because like higher levels of math are, I guess, more common. You know, because algebra is being done middle school now. Geometry is being done in middle school.
My son is
Yeah,
my oldest. He's getting really good at math.
that's good.
Yeah,
Math is pretty important. So it's like,
like it's funny. He'll come home with his homework, and he'll be like, "How do I do that?" And I'll tell him how to do it, and I'll see it click. Oh, and he does the rest of them. Like, there you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Because I remember some of my math teachers like, yeah, just like you learned in 6th grade. And I was like, bro, I didn't do that till high school. Like, I'm one of the old guys in class.
Yeah.
So, like, break it down for me because I haven't done math in over 10 years.
Yeah. Oh man, statistics. Oh,
I'm not looking forward to that one.
like I was all about, like, I love math, right?
But I've
Yeah.
heard statistics is just
It's
is a pain.
different. Like me, I'm like, give me some algebra, give me some
Oh,
trig.
I love algebra.
I like me some
Yeah.
formulas. Give me that shit. I'll do it all day.
Yeah.
Statistics, it's like long word problems. That's what it is. It's a word problem,
Pass.
and you got to figure out the average and do.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like Jesus Christ. It's
The
just
only statistics I need is I will statistically shoot the same direction. You know, like I don't. Like, I get it. I can understand a grouping. You know,
but,
ballistics. That's
like-
not statistics.
yeah, but like when it comes to college statistics, like
Words.
yeah, my wife came home with her statistics book, and she had to take it, and she's doing it. I'm like, oh my god. She's like, what's wrong? I thought you were good at math. I'm like, I am, but this is hurting my brain. Like, I don't like that. I don't like this.
Yeah.
And then my statistics class was fairly easy because I was already good at math, and then throw in the statistics crap. The teacher, professor, whatever you want to call him, he's written a couple of textbooks, or he's helped write.
Wow.
Yeah, he was very, very dry.
Was he like Ben Stein dry? Wow.
Almost not that iconic voice
Oh,
or
man,
anything.
that's tough to
But
deal with.
it was Ben's. Yeah, like he would tell a joke, but the joke would be so mathematically.
So you had to be smart in math to get his humor.
Yeah, well, smarter math, or I guess a little bit older. But he didn't tell it like a joke or tell it like it was funny. He would just say it, and then he'd be writing, he would say it in
The slow turn with a smile.
and here I am, I'm laughing, and then all the kids are just like,
Oh, what are you laughing about?
this guy's weird.
Yeah.
And I would look at them like, you didn't think that was funny? And they're like, what? I'm like, oh my god.
It's like the whole that squirrel meme from almost a decade ago now. Actually, probably a decade ago, early 2000s, when the squirrel would just like dramatic turn and
Yeah.
then it would zoom in.
Dun, dun. Yeah. Like, it got to the point where in the class, he would just turn around and look at me.
Oh, like, did you get it?
Yeah. And I'm like, got it. And everybody else would just be like, huh? What?
I don't get it. That's funny.
Yeah. But he was good, though. He was able to teach me, like an easier way to go about doing it, so it's not as bad as I first thought. So it really wasn't that bad. Especially when we got to like the bell curve and all the outliers and stuff. And
Right, learn how to get rid of those.
there was something that I brought like conspiracy theory in there. Like I should have been wearing a tinfoil hat because he was like, what? Like he wasn't ready for it.
Does not compute.
Yeah, we were supposed to tell somebody something. And I'm like, well, but then we have Iraq, and then like I brought in all this crap and stuff. It was funny.